Hello everyone, it's Pixel again, and sorry, anywho, yeah, this is going to be another MLP fanfic review. This is one I actually wanted to do for a while, because frankly it's become, well, yeah, it's actually one of my favorites. It is a puppet to her fame. So, first and foremost, disclaimer, I own nothing. Everything belongs to the rightful owners. So please go and support them and be nice, please. And some viewers may find this disturbing, so viewer discretion is advised. And yeah, viewer discretion is advised, please. So the summary for, well, before I get into the summary, instead of chapters, well, you could say that this is just the same thing. It actually goes by acts. So this is Act 1. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into A Puppet to Her Fame. And the summary for this is, my unicorn parents called me a worthless mud pony. They pushed me every day to overcome my lowly status. When I woke up one morning with my cutie mark, I thought they would love me. I couldn't have been farther from the truth. It was not destiny or enjoyment that led me to discover the cello and composing. My parents made that decision, deciding before I was born I would continue their family legacy of famous musicians. They did not realize what that decision would cost them. So this story is actually about Octavia. Sorry, just trying to get comfy. And yeah, just to throw that out there, yeah, it's about Octavia. And basically in how, well, it actually starts with Octavia, and also this story is told from Octavia's point of view. Sorry about that. So, it starts with Octavia. Basically, she's alone in her room composing music. And apparently the walls are stained with blood and so itchy. Sorry about that. And there's also, she says that there's nothing, she doesn't look at the blood-stained walls or the corpses of her parents. And Octavia also explains how she left her. And we'll find out very soon who she is. So yeah, Octavia is, she's composing music. And it appears that all that seems to remain in her life now. And we actually get some... And then we discover more about Octavia. How her parents decided... I am so sorry, excuse me. How, before she was born, Octavia's parents decided that she would be a famous musician. Yeah, a famous musician, and apparently both of her parents were unicorns, and they gave birth to an earth pony. And yeah. And one thing to note about Octavia's parents is that they're very conservative unicorns. Like, her father was a famous composer, and her mother... No. Sorry. Her father was a famous conductor, and her mother was a famous composer. But, yeah, her father is, well, spiteful, to say the least, and her mother is, well, described as being swift past judgment. But since the two of them both have unbroken lines of musical prodigies in their families, they're not just because they gave birth to an earth pony, that won't break, they decide not to let it break the chain. So Octavia was basically raised from a young age, knowing nothing but music. Basically to books on music theory and her, of course, and also parenting and also instructors as well. So Octavia basically, and also Octavia apparently was also, so yeah, she had to prove that she was just as good as a unicorn was. And whenever she complained or failed, well, let's just say her parents aren't the most loving. But they apparently don't go to the point where, like, you know, because it would not bode well for them if she was sent to the hospital with a broken leg. But regardless, they still had time to teach her lessons. And she also remembers her trips to the orchestra hall, where her father would offer support from silent support from the front row, and her mother would guide her between the instruments and always would point out her failings. And Octavia thinks that the only way to earn their love is to receive her cutie mark in music. But weeks go by and Octavia doesn't get a cutie mark yet, and her father ignores her cries for help as Octavia's mother takes her anger out on her. And Octavia at that point is desperate for their approval. If it's only a way to make sure that the pain ends. And she actually recalls how exactly she got her cutie mark, but she doesn't know exactly how it happened. And that day seems to start with Octavia's father telling her that they decided that they're going to stop taking her to the concert hall, and that he bought her a cello and that she'll only play it from now on. And Octavia tries to tell her father it's not fair, but her father tells her that it's final and that she will play the cello until it becomes her talent, but Octavia still refuses, saying that she won't play it, and tries to run away to her room. But she ends up bumping into the chef. Sorry about that. And Octavia's father tells the chef to bring him his dinner and also some wood for his fireplace, and to apparently teach Octavia a lesson. And it's revealed here that... Sorry, my hair is just... That there's no other earth ponies in the mansion. It's just the chef and Octavia. So the chef actually decides to, he stops hitting her flank early, but Octavia tells him to finish, because if her father finds out, then it'll get worse for the both of them, and if he doesn't hear her screaming. But apparently it seems that the chef doesn't have the heart to do it. So, yeah, Octavia she's then seen sneaking out of her room to grab something to eat and drink, since apparently meals are a privilege to reward her good behavior. So Octavia, she goes down a set of stairs that apparently leads to the attic, where she, goes to get some food and water. But then she hears something almost like it's coming from above her, like she doesn't know exactly what it is, but it sounds like, it's almost sounding like chanting. Or maybe someone is playing an instrument. And just when Octavia is about to sorry about that. And just when Octavia is about to go and find out where it's coming from, and even in present day, she doesn't remember exactly how or where exactly the melody was coming from. And Octavia only remembers stumbling back in shock and falling and taking a tumble down the stairs and losing consciousness. And once she woke up the next morning in her bed, apparently that was also the day she received her cutie mark, which is, of course, the purple treble cleft. And Octavia is, of course, is happy about this because since she finally now has a cutie mark in music, her parents would finally accept her. Only she doesn't know exactly how it got there. So she goes to tell her parents about her cutie mark, and she's basically happy because she thinks that they'll finally treat her like their daughter, and that she could possibly spend time with other ponies now and even make a friend. But she hears... But apparently her hopes are quickly dashed. Yeah, her hopes are sadly dashed. And because apparently she finds her parents arguing about apparently her mother tells her father that just because you bought her some special cello, it doesn't mean she has any talent, and her father tells his wife that he's not going to waste any more time on her, and that it's done now, and that she now has the cello and a mark. But her mother, Octavia's mother, tells her since he allows the servants to discipline her rather than himself. And the mother actually brings up the father's parents, which he tells her not to bring them into this because they told him not to marry her, and that if they can teach Octavia to be a famous musician, it'll prove that they're better than them. And Octavia's mother tells her to let her handle her instead. And this breaks Octavia. she basically runs back to her room and basically just sobs. She basically just cries her heart out. Like, because it seems that her parents knew that she got her cutie mark, but they still think that she's worthless. But something else also happens. She starts to hear something, what appears to be some kind of melody in the room. She looks... And she thinks that it was the same one that she heard in the attic. But her cello... She looks at her cello and nothing, and it's not coming from there. So she tries to find where exactly it's coming from. But she doesn't know exactly where it's coming from, so she begins to scream. She kicks the cello from its stand, and she hides under her bed. And she's also afraid that... She's also scared that her parents would blame her for this, thinking that she's gone insane and that her cutie mark was a fake. And she thinks that they would never love her. And we actually see Octavia asking her mother if she can hear the music. But her mother just tells her that it's her muse, and tells her to go compose what she's hearing, but yeah, so she does so, and actually, ever since Octavia got her cutie mark, she's always been hearing music everywhere. Yeah, she's been hearing music everywhere. I am so sorry, excuse me. And it seems that it goes away when... It's almost as if... It kind of seems like she's hearing like a symphony or an orchestra of music, and... But when she starts composing it, it will go away. It's sort of like well, as the story describes it, an itch that wouldn't go away. So, throughout the years, Octavia just stayed in her room so her parents would leave her alone. And apparently, composing music and playing the cello are seemingly her only talents. And so yeah, she composes she practices, and then she performs. But the real story actually starts, well, I wouldn't say the real story, but we do get to find out what led Octavia in the position she was in the beginning. And it actually starts when Octavia turns 18. Where she's at the orchestra with her mother, and her sorry about that. And her mother tells her to put her bow tie back on, but Octavia says that it's too tight. Sorry about that. But so Octavia's mother, basically, she ends up putting the bow tie on Octavia and nearly chokes her to death with it. She does, but she does loosen it and tells Octavia not to disappoint her. And yeah, so yeah, Octavia gets ready to perform. But as she's going, but before she can do anything else, she notices some kind of string, some kind of like string in front of her. And she doesn't know exactly where it's coming from. And she gives it a little poke, and it just swings for a little bit in midair, I should say. But when she pokes it again, it actually digs into her skin, and more strings come out and start attaching themselves to Octavia, and they start guiding her to her cello. And yeah, so she becomes lost in the music and she starts playing. And once she's done, Octavia starts thinking about all the things that she wants to do. Since it seems that now that she's 18, that her parents, because at one point, yeah, the father did say that they wouldn't be taking her to the orchestra anymore. And it seems that Octavia now has a bit more freedom to get out of her gilded cage. Well, I would say it's more of a golden cage. C-A-G-E. Just, sorry, I'm rambling. I am so dumb. But it also seems that Octavia's parents also taught her when she was younger that friends would be worthless. But she always seems to have her doubts about it. That there would be ponies out there that wouldn't hate her just for what she was. And she realizes that she can actually now have friends. Yeah. And surely enough, she does. There's new musicians, conductors, and everyone seems to be nice. Sorry about that. And the conductor doesn't go out of his way to embarrass Octavia whenever they played one of her songs. And for the first time, Octavia seems genuinely happy. And after practice ends, Octavia is getting ready to go home, but she spots a mare coming towards her, and spoiler alert, it's Lyra. And apparently, so yeah, Lyra greets Octavia, and Octavia greets her back. And apparently Lyra saw Octavia auditioning and offers Octavia to visit a club with her and her friends. And Octavia at first decides, part of Octavia, at first, she thinks about not taking her offer, but Octavia sees this as an opportunity to be free and to, just enjoy a night. Oh, yeah, just enjoy a night with other ponies. And since she won't have to return home until later in the evening, it seems that she'll make the most of it. So Octavia accepts, and they head down to the place. And Lyra actually asks Octavia how long she's been playing the cello, and Lyra asks then, and Octavia tells her that she's been playing it ever since she's gotten her cutie mark, but Lyra asks then maybe it should be just a bass clef. And Octavia just thinks that she got lucky because, not even she knows where it came from. And Lyra tells her if she started out on the violin and changed her mind. Because apparently after Lyra found her cutie mark, she still wanted to play guitar. But yeah. And Octavia tells her that she didn't just wake up with it, and that she also composes music as well, so that's why it's a treble clef. And Octavia also tells Lyra that she's been composing, that she actually composed the song that they heard tonight. And apparently Octavia is something of a... Apparently she's become something like a... I'm guessing an inspiration at the orchestra. Because she, apparently when she was a little filly, she started composing music at 8 years old. And Lyra seems to be... and tells her that you've released a lot of songs, and you basically written music for every single instrument I could think of. So, yeah. And Lyra, and they actually do manage to reach the club, where they see that's titled The Blue Moon. With basically a bunch, and of course, and where it's, sorry, I am so sorry about that. And Octavia takes notice of, like, the ponies lining up to get inside. Some of them are even, you know, hanging out, well, outside, and so, and Lyra also says that they cut the drinks here, but the club does also have the best DJ in Canterlot, and we all know who it is. We all do. So, Lyra takes Octavia inside, and yeah. So, and Octavia is, like, she's never been to anything like this before, so she of course sees, like she hears the music that seems to replace the cello solo that's been stuck in her head for about 2 weeks. And she follows Lyra to the dance floor. And apparently, Octavia, she basically feels like dancing. But she's just a little nervous to do so. But Lyra and Octavia begins to get thirsty, so Lyra gives her what appears to be water, but it's something else that burns her throat. And Lyra says that it'll loosen Octavia up and, you know, get her to stop acting like this. Stop acting, as she puts it, prim and proper. And here's where we meet Bon Bon. And she basically scolds Lyra because we know where this is gonna go. So Octavia greets Bon Bon and she asks Lyra if she can have something normal to drink. And she then sees a unicorn who is the DJ. And yep, it's Vinyl Scratch. And Octavia sees Vinyl as a mayor who has it all. And also Lyra just gives Octavia more drinks, and she asks Lyra who basically Octavia gets tipsy. Yeah, she gets tipsy from all the drinks, and Bon Bon asks her how much Lyra gave her, and Octavia in this state tells them that she never gets to leave the mansion and that this is the best night that she's had. And of course the show ends with Lyra asking Octavia to ask Vinyl to hang out with them. And Vinyl actually walks over to them and Octavia introduces herself and says that she's cute. And Vinyl introduces herself. But yeah, Octavia is not... She's basically drunk. Yeah. And so yeah, there's a bit of back and forth between Vinyl and Lyra and Bon Bon as well, and Lyra actually says to Vinyl that Octavia said that she likes her. And Octavia tells her that she wants to be just like her. But Octavia then Octavia then throws up on Lyra. Which causes Vinyl and Bonbon to laugh at her. So Bonbon tells both of the girls to stop and that they've had their fun, and tells Lyra that they should be going home now, and Lyra, since Octavia threw up on her, to get herself cleaned up, and she tells Vinyl to help Octavia get home. At first, Vinyl doesn't want to, but Lyra, of course, tells her that she'll get all of it all over her fur, all over her coat, if she doesn't. So yeah, that gets Vinyl to agree and says that she'll take Octavia home. I am so sorry, excuse me. I am so sorry about that, excuse me. So yeah, Vinyl takes Octavia outside, and also to get her some fresh air. And Vinyl actually asks Octavia if this is her first night out. And yeah, but Octavia gets scared at first due to the state that she's in. But Vinyl tells her that it's her. And there's also like this scene where Octavia says that she wants a flute. You know, like that little, like the instrument. Just throwing that out there. So Vinyl asks Octi where her home is, and of course, apparently Vinyl thinks that Lyra stuck her with a drunk noble. But Octavia tells her in this state of mind that she's not noble because she's an earth pony. And yeah. So it appears that Octavia actually falls asleep, because in the next scene we see her waking up with a headache. And she slowly she starts to remember bits and pieces of the night before, wondering if she made it home, and if she managed, and also if her parents found out. But she hears a rather upbeat melody that's apparently being played by a violin and I hope I am saying this right. If not, I apologize. An oboe. O-B-O-E. I probably butchered that. I butchered that. I am so sorry. So yeah, Octavia she of course doesn't feel so well after last night, but she wonders, but she's also worried that that she was caught by her parents. But someone actually comes in and closes the curtains and brings some soup for Octavia, and it's the chef. And Octavia looks at the chef and asks him why does he help her, since her parents will find out. And the chef tells her that he's apparently lost a lot with age. His wife, his daughter, his courage, but he can't stand the way Octavia's parents treat her and other Earth ponies. But also Octavia asks him, then why discipline me when my father asks? And also, why are you working here in the first place? And the chef tells her if he hadn't did it, then her father would have sent someone else to do it. And the chef explains that he has to do what he can to keep this job so Octavia can at least have one friend in this house, since it's apparently all he has left to give at his age. And Octavia thinks that actually sounds rather nice. And she asks also what happened, and the chef explains that Vinyl brought her back home and they managed to sneak Octavia back into the house, but despite everything, Octavia's parents knew that she stayed out late. And the next time she stays out late, he tells her to knock on the door and he'll let her in. So yeah, Octavia still, although she's still, I apologize for that, although she's still hearing the melody, she does try to relax and enjoy the soup that the chef brought for her. And we also get to learn some more about Octavia, because she mentions at one point, sorry about that she trusted a maid, that she was going to escape and find the police, but apparently the maid was ordered by her father to gain her trust and to spy on her. So, and yeah, at that point, Octavia was wondering if she could trust anyone, like, in the mansion. But for the time being, she just tries to rest and finish finish her soup. But that's quickly interrupted by her mother coming in, which causes and yeah, her mother opens the curtains again, and Octavia hides underneath the covers. And so yeah, Octavia's mother is not happy with her staying out late after practice. And she tells Octavia that she hopes that she would hate for her to be too sick to compose, because and tells her that if you're not playing or composing, then I will lock you. She actually threatens her to lock her in the cellar. And Octavia, she basically does answer no to that, but her mother tells her to stay hydrated, so she levitates the soup and then she pours it all into her mouth. And Octavia tries to spit it out, but her mother just forces, basically she forces her mouth closed to swallow it. And Octavia, she does swallow all of it, and her mother does release her. And Octavia calls her mother a soulless witch, and it seems that Octavia is going to throw up, so her mother places her bow tie on to make sure Octavia doesn't throw up. And she doesn't, and she tells Octavia that she'll be back in an hour and expects her to compose. But she doesn't loosen the knot on Octavia's bow tie, and Octavia nearly suffocates. But she's actually saved by the strings. They actually managed to loosen the bow tie for her, and also she calls these strings, or whatever controls them, the puppeteer. And she gets the feeling that they hate her mother as much as she does. And so Octavia composes. And yeah. So Octavia actually goes with Lyra back to one of the clubs. She actually goes after practice once again and goes with Lyra somewhere to grab a bite to eat, along with Bonbon and Final. So yeah, they do, and they go to a place called Salty Muzzles. Or just Muzzle, it doesn't have an S. Sorry. So Octavia, there's actually a part when they do meet up with Bonbon and Vinyl. Octavia... Vinyl actually makes Octavia laugh. And it's revealed that her father has a wine cellar. And... yeah, and... so yeah, Vinyl makes a joke and gets Octavia to laugh. So, Lyra and Vinyl decide to have a contest, and yeah. And Bonbon and Octavia actually, they both talk about each other's lives, how Lyra told her that Octavia's parents were both unicorns. And they actually find a stallion actually approaches them and yeah. So, yeah, you could probably, let's just say, like, these stallions are not good. Because apparently because when Bonbon and Octavia get back to Lyra and Vinyl, Octavia starts to feel sleepy. Because, well, I will say this, though. Bonbon says that she basically, I guess, flirts with this stallion in order to get free drinks. But yeah, I'm not gonna touch that. Sorry. I can't, it's just... well, because, I don't know, there's just some kind of implication as to why Octavia gets so tired later. And, I don't want to think about it. It's... So yeah, Lyra and Bonbon go their separate ways, and Octavia, and in this state, once again, she tells about what happened with the soup and her mother, and how, yeah. But, and once again, she looks at Vinyl, and it seems that Vinyl is shocked about that. And it's revealed that Vinyl actually took Octavia home with her to let her get some rest. And, yeah. So, yeah, Octavia... sorry. Octavia wakes up and she's not at her house and not in her room. And she realizes what happened, and she tries to get out of bed, and she sees that there's pizza boxes and various clothing all over the place. And yeah, so Octavia decides to, like, she heads home, and like, she doesn't recall exactly what happened last night. But she does remember Vinyl, or at least memories of spending time with Vinyl. And while all this is happening, Octavia also hears the music again. And she basically goes to compose. And she also wonders why it's here of all places. So Octavia rushes home. But she actually meets with the butler who takes her to her room, and she asks the butler how bad, because it seems that her parents found out about what happened. And her parents come in, and her father tells Octavia a story that he actually had a dog when he was a child, but apparently his father ordered him to get rid of it, and he took a rock, and yeah. And Octavia asks her father if he's going to ask what happened last night. But Octavia's father tells her not to test his patience, and that he loved that dog more than he loves her. And Octavia's mother comes in like furious with her bow tie. And Octavia tries to fight back, but her mother places the bow tie on her and starts to choke her. And she demands to know where Octavia went last night, and Octavia tries to explain, but her mother just tries to get more information out of Octavia, but Octavia refuses to be caged. C-A-G-E-D. Just sorry about that. And Octavia's mother actually ends up punching her in the throat. And then she hits her in the jaw. And her mother yells at her that... I am so sorry about that, excuse me. I am so sorry, excuse me. I apologize. Pardon. I am sorry. I just hate it when that happens sometimes. It's just... So, yeah, Octavia's mother yells at her that her and her husband could have had another child, but it was apparently too late because his parents found out about the baby and that he couldn't disappoint them. And this ends with Octavia's mother knocking her out. Oh boy. So, yeah. I have to say, like, the beginning is, well, I can't really spoil it now, but yeah, like, there is, I will say this, there is a reason as to why Octavia why things are the way they are in the beginning of Act 1. And also, I also like how we get some little, like, bits and pieces of Octavia's childhood. When, like, how there's actually a part where she apparently couldn't pronounce butler when she was younger, so she calls him Butters. You know, like butter. But yeah, and just, you really feel bad for Octavia in this. Given the type of ponies her parents are, like, it seems like they're the types that are never satisfied. Like, even when Octavia gets her cutie mark, they still are not satisfied. Sorry about that. But yeah, like, they're still not satisfied. It seems like, I don't know. Like, they're like the type that you have to go to great lengths to satisfy, but, and also just won't be satisfied no matter what. And we also get to see a bit more of, well, I'm guessing because the reason why Octavia's parents keep her around is to prove to the father's parents that they're better than they are, that they're better than them, and that they can make Octavia into a famous musician. And also the puppeteer in this, like, I will say this, it seems like it's a good thing. Well, aside from, like, you know, I mean, it seems to be connected with the music and also with Octavia, well, maybe with Octavia herself, and it also might also be connected to her cello. But then again, what do I know? But yeah, like, and also I have to admit, that scene where her mother is, like, pouring hot soup into her mouth and she has to basically drink it all in one gulp is just, like, the story just, like, her parents are just awful. But I will say this, I do love the relationship between the chef and Octavia. Like, I would say that he's more of a father to her than her actual father. But yeah, so I will talk more about Act 1 when I review Act 2, because my camera is running out of batteries. So yeah, sorry that I have to cut this a bit short, but regardless, I do hope you all enjoyed, and thank you all for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!